2025 NBA champions are the Oklahoma City Thunder. Your 2025 NBA MVP is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course, and this is kind of how we drew everything up from the beginning of the season, at least for OKC, to win the NBA championship, which they did. Jokic may have been favored over SGA, but as the season went on, SGA became honestly the heavy favorite. Things were pretty close, but we all knew SGA was going to win towards the end of the season, and SGA has a lot of haters around the NBA circles and around NBA fan circles. I know he has a lot of people that hate on him because I am one of those people. One thing that'll frustrate me, people want to hate on SGA. Again, I'm one of those people, but just because I hate on his flopping and his foul baiting ways, it's 100% true. He does flop a lot. He does foul bait a lot. If you don't think he does, you're just not watching the games or you're denying it. So yes, he flops a lot. He foul baits a lot. That's true. And over here, he's one of the best, if not the best offensive player. Definitely the best scorer in the NBA. So the people over here that want to hate and say, oh, flopping, foul baiting, which I'm one of those people, I agree with you. But I don't like when people do that and they just want to ignore his offensive skill and act like he's not an amazing player on offense because he's doing historic things these past 3 seasons. You have to bring up Michael Jordan's name when you want to compare him to somebody, and some other legendary players' names you have to bring up just to compare SGA to with what he's doing. Here's his past 3 seasons since 2023. He's put up 30 plus points every single season. Past 3 seasons, he's averaging 31.3 points per game on 52% shooting on only 21 field goal attempts per game. If you're taking 20 plus field goal attempts per game, you're probably one of those star players. You're probably one of the number one or number two offensive options on your NBA team. But Kobe in, I think it was 2005, 2006, when he averaged 35 points, he was taking 27 shots per game. Just to give you a little bit of a comparison for field goal attempts that are taken. But again, SGA, the 31 points, 31.3 points per game on 52% shooting on 21 field goal attempts per game. It's just amazing. I can't think of, I'm going to get into the stats, but just off the top of my head, I can't think of a player that's averaged 30 points per game 3 seasons straight without going to Michael Jordan. He's the only guy off the top of my head that I can think of doing that, and he's one of the last players that was actually able to do that. So Jordan averaged 30 plus 7 seasons straight, 7 seasons in a row. It's just ridiculous, and that's why he is the GOAT. No one else has ever done that since Michael Jordan. But Jordan was averaging 33.2 points through those 7 seasons, 33.2 points on 52% from the field, and he was taking 24 field goal attempts per game. That was from 1987 to 1933. So again, that was 7 seasons straight for Jordan, averaging 33.2. SGA, he's averaged 31.3 on 52% field goal shooting, just like Jordan did. Again, Jordan, it was 7 seasons straight, so it's just ridiculous, the Michael Jordan numbers. But SGA was taking 21 field goal attempts per game. Jordan was taking 24 field goal attempts per game through that entire stretch. Could I see SGA going these next 4 seasons? Because it's already been 3 seasons in a row of him averaging 30 points plus on 50% or better field goal shooting. I could definitely see him going these next 3 to 4 seasons and still averaging over 30 points on better than 50% field goal shooting, because it seems like that's just what he does. SGA just turned 27 years old. He's still young, so I mean, in 4 years, let's even go these next 5 seasons in a row. After those 5 years, he's going to be turning 32 years old, so he's going to be basically right in the middle of his prime, or kind of towards the end of his prime, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But SGA's play style, I feel like it's going to age well because a lot of it is just getting to his spots and raising up. For his mid-range jumpers, his game's more based on skill than it is on athleticism. So, again, these 3 seasons in a row, he's averaging 31.3 on 52% shooting from the field, and he's only getting better, to be honest. He's only 27, so he's just coming into his prime, and he's still adding things into his bag. He can improve his three-point shooting. He can improve some other things about his game. He's very polished offensively, but honestly, the three-point shooting, he can get a better low post and mid post game. He has a decent one, but he can improve on that as well. So SGA is just getting better and better, and I could see him averaging, again, 30 plus points on 50% or better shooting for these next 5 seasons in a row, and then he'd be right there with Michael Jordan as far as averaging 30 plus points for 7 seasons in a row on 50% or better shooting from the field. And it's just ridiculous numbers. If you see right here, I don't know what happened with SGA, but this is that 2022 season. So he was averaging 24.5 points per game that season. He was shooting 45% from the field, if you see it right here, and he was taking just about 18.8, we'll round it up to 19 field goal attempts per game. And I don't know what happened, but that next season, he went from 24.5 points per game, jumped up, it's at 7 points per game, all the way up to 31.5, so a 7 point per game increase. He goes from 45% from the field to 51% from the field. He goes from 19 shots to 20 shots. We just took one more shot a game. It's not like he was averaging 24 points and then coach said, all right, here's the keys, SGA. You can take as many shots per game as you want now. He was already taking 19. He went up to 20 shots, just one more shot attempt per game. He boosted up his field goal shooting by 60% basically from 45, not 60, 6% from 45% to 51%. And his scoring again went up 7 points per game. So I don't know what happened. SJ must have just been working his ass off over that 2022 season because he's only taken one more shot a game. So like I was saying, it'd be one thing if someone's averaging 25 points per game and they're taking 15 shots per game, and the next season all of a sudden they're taking 21 shots per game. They're taking 6 more field goal attempts than they used to be taking. But that wasn't the case for SGA. He just took one more shot attempt per game than he was, and his scoring goes up 7 points. His field goal percentage goes up 6 points. He must have just been busting his ass over the summer, or everything just clicked for him in that season. I don't know what it was, but he goes from being just a very good player, a solid offensive option, an all-star level player, and then at the end of that 2023 season, just a bona fide superstar, one of the best scorers in the NBA. People may have still put Kevin Durant above him, depending on who you talk to, but today in today's NBA, at the end of the 2025 season, SGA is the best scorer in the NBA. You can argue, or you can even say Nikola Jokic is a better offensive engine. You might say he's the better offensive player. I'd probably agree with you on that, but as far as just being a scorer, SGA is the best scorer in the NBA. Follows up that 23 season with 30 points per game, then 32.7, so basically 33 points per game in the 2025 season. So his scoring just getting better and better. If you look at it there, his field goal percentage, he was at 51, then 53, then 52%. So it's not a fluke. He can average 30 points for a season on better than 50% shooting from the field. All he really needs is 20 field goal attempts. So it's not like he needs an insane amount of field goal attempts because, again, like I said, Kobe was taking 27 field goal attempts per game in that 2006 season when he averaged 35 points. So SGA, just an extremely efficient scorer on, not an insane amount of field goal attempts compared to some of these other scorers in the NBA. So what he's doing is historic, the 31.3 points per game on 52% shooting from the field for 3 seasons straight. Again, Michael Jordan was another guy that did something similar, but it was 7 straight seasons where Jordan averaged 33.2 points on 52% shooting from the field. He was taking 24 field goal attempts. So if you give SGA, it would just be 2 more attempts from what he was taking the 25 season. Just give him those 2 more attempts, and I could definitely see him averaging 34, 35 points per game if he really wanted to. So, like I was saying before, these next 4 seasons coming up, I could definitely see SGA continuing to average over 30 points per game and, staying over 50% shooting from the field. So you have to compare him to Jordan in that aspect. Kobe Bryant from 2006 to 2008. So that was a 3-year stretch of Kobe Bryant's career where he was kind of at his peak as far as scoring goes. He was averaging 31.7 points per game on 46% from the field. So the efficiency is a big drop-off. He was taking 24 field goal attempts per game, just like Jordan was during his stretch, but SGA and Jordan, they were 52% field goal percentage, where Kobe was only 46% from the field. 46% from the field, if you're averaging 32 points for 3 years straight on 46% shooting from the field, that's still good efficiency. That's that strong efficiency. If you're giving, if you can give me 30 plus points per game for 3 years straight, that's good efficiency to do it on. But just shows you how special SGA is, because he's doing the same thing, but he was doing it on 52% shooting from the field, and he was only taking the 21 attempts per game, where Kobe was taking the 24 field goal attempts per game in his 3 year span. Get to Kevin Durant. That's another great scorer who popped up in my mind when I was making this video. Kevin Durant from 2012 to 2014, he was averaging 29.3 points per game on 50% shooting from the field on 19 field goal attempts. One thing I'll complain about with Kevin Durant is I always want him to take more shots. Kevin Durant doesn't take as many shots as he should, in my opinion. But, again, 3 years straight, he wasn't quite at 30 points per game. He's at 29 points per game on 50% from the field. So again, SGA averaging more points, better efficiency than KD. During Kevin Durant's, 2012 to 2014, that was basically Kevin Durant's best 3 year 3 year scoring stretch as far as efficiency goes and points per game. And again, he's not even at SGA's efficiency. He's not averaging as many points as SGA did during his 3 year stretch. That's just some forward and guard type players, because SGA is kind of in his own. It's almost, him and Jordan are kind of in their own caliber as far as efficiency goes from a guard. Just for fun, I threw Kareem in there. From 1971 to 1973, Kareem averaged 32.2 points on 57% from the field. His efficiency is ridiculous there, but, Kareem's 7 feet tall, so that's the difference. And he was taking 24 field goal attempts per game during Kareem's 3 year stretch there. So, what SGA is doing is just ridiculous. I only see him getting better as time goes on, because his scoring is just going up. It went up from last season. His efficiency is getting better, if not just staying right around that same range. So like I was saying, I see SGA averaging 30 points plus for the next 3 or 4 years in a row, and I feel like his efficiency is going to be above 50% moving forward. He's just one of the most spectacular scorers we've ever seen in the NBA. His efficiency is ridiculous. He gets to that mid-range spot, and he'll give you the step back, or he'll do a pump fake, and he'll do a little pivot over his other shoulder and shoot the fadeaway. He just gets to his spots, at will. He's so efficient from the mid-range. His three-point percentage, let's see here, for last season, he was at 37% from three last season. He was taking 6 attempts per game. So that's what SGA is improving right now. His three-point percentage is getting better, and I don't really ever see SGA taking 8 or 9, 10 3-point attempts per game like Anthony Edwards or Steph Curry, but that seems like that's the next part of his game he's developing. Again, he was at 37% on 6 attempts last season, and his field goal percentage overall didn't go down. He was still at 52% shooting from the field. So SGA just developing that 3 ball. He already has so much in his bag. He reminds me of more of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, to be honest, because Kobe didn't really have a spot on the floor. He would just get off the dribble, get to anywhere. Every spot on the floor was his spot. He'll just shoot from anywhere, and that's why his field goal percentage and his efficiency may not be as good as SGA is, where SGA, he has so many spots on the floor he wants to get to, but he'll just get to his spot, raise up, and he's just knocking it down more often than not. But he knows his spots he's trying to get to. Similar to Michael Jordan, he knows the spots he wants to get to. Same thing with Kevin Durant. They know the spots they want to get to, and if SGA can't get to his spot, or he can't get the shot he wants to first try, he goes to his second move. If he can't get that second shot, he goes to his third move, his fourth move. He has a counter for his counter for his counter. He just has so many different moves he can get to get an efficient shot for himself, where, Kobe Bryant back then, he would just take more inefficient shots and take more crazy off-balance shots, where SGA, he's pretty much never off balance. He always has his legs under him. He gets that good elevation, always shoots with a good form. He will shoot some fallaways, but it's not like SGA's not taking that many crazy shots. He just gets to his spots and raises up for an efficient shot. He's so good at handling the ball. He's so good at using that shoulder bump. Like I said, in Game 3 of the finals, he stiff-armed the shit out of, I think it was Nemhart or Neesmith that he stiff armed, but refs let him get away with a lot. And I mean, it is what it is. Just do what you can out there to put your points up on the board. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm one of the SGA haters, to be totally honest with you. The way he flops and foul bait, it just makes me so mad. When he stiff armed, I think it was Nemhart, when he stiff armed him in Game 3 of the finals, he got to that step back fall away on the baseline. I'm yelling at my TV, because the Thunder got away with so much more physicality than the Pacers, in my opinion. SGA gets away with a lot of things that other players just wouldn't get away with. He gets a lot of foul calls that other players wouldn't get. He gets a lot of soft foul calls, in my opinion. And it's not SGA's fault. If you're a superstar, you're going to get the whistle, then, draw the fouls and get the points from the free throw line, because that's the most efficient way to get the points. I would do the exact same thing if I was SGA. I'd be drawing fouls and marching to the free throw line just like SGA does. What frustrates me is more that SGA gets all of these pretty soft foul calls. I'll just call it what it is. There are a lot of soft calls, and then other players, they'll get the same contact, other players in the NBA, but they don't get the same calls that SGA gets. So that's what kind of frustrates me, but that's an officiating problem. That's not SGA's problem. But even me being an SGA hater, I'll look at the flopping and foul baiting. Again, like I said, I'll say I don't like this. This really frustrates me. But I love basketball. I love watching SGA get into his bag. I'm not going to be the guy that hates on the flopping and foul baiting and just says, oh, SGA's ass, SGA's a terrible offensive player, SGA sucks. Because there are people that will do that and act like he's not averaging 31.3 points per game on 52% shooting for the past 3 seasons in a row. All they want to look at is the flopping and the foul baiting and be a hater like I am, but just be a 100% hater and act like SGA just sucks on offense. And that's one thing that'll frustrate me. But what SGA is doing, it's just historic right now. You can only mention, honestly, Michael Jordan's name as far as guards go, as far as historic guard seasons go. If you want to find someone averaging 31.3 points a game on 52% shooting from the field for 3 seasons in a row, you have to start mentioning Shaquille O'Neal and Kareem and just big man players. There's no other guard players except for SGA and Michael Jordan that are able to average, 30 plus points 3 seasons in a row on 50% or better field goal shooting from the field. So just ridiculous what SGA is doing. Again, I'm going to hate on the flopping and foul bait, and I'm going to call it out every time I see it. But, I do appreciate SGA at the same time. He's amazing to watch. His mid-range game is second to nobody. He doesn't look like he's ever moving fast. He kind of just slithers his way into the paint, gets to his spot. He's as good as anyone I've ever seen at using leverage. He comes off the screen, he hits you with a move and gets you on his hip. And as soon as you're on his hips, you're just barbecue chicken. He's going to cook you and get an easy mid-range shot, or he's going to get to the rim for an easy layup, and it's not even going to look like he's trying hard, and it's going to piss you off as a defender. But SGA just last season was historic, having a historic 3 seasons in a row, and with the way things are going with SGA, he's only 27 years old. I can definitely see him keeping up this level of play for the next 3 or 4 seasons in a row. And if he has 7 seasons in a row like that, we're really going to have to put his name next to Michael Jordan in these scoring comparisons. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 50 subscribers. And please let me know what you think about SGA's play style and just the historic seasons he's been having.